Good evening and welcome back to another edition of
Oh, I see what we're doing here.
What are you talking about?
I see what we're doing here. I'll give me 2 seconds.
All right, I'll finish my spiel then. Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Smoke and Mirrors. I'm your host, Stephen Polius, alongside Greg Polius. It's just a bros episode, but Greg had to do something. I don't know. As you can tell, I'm dressed up pretty fine today. Might have something to do with Greg. I'm not sure. I'm just getting home from first day on the job and did not have time to change. So Mondays, you might just see me looking, my finest, extra smexy. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can get used to that. But yeah, I'm happy to be doing a bros episode whenever I get him back. I just want to let you know what we get into today. So typically on our Mondays, we always have our top 5 QBs of the week. So you can look forward to week 14's top 5 QBs. We're going to recap the Sunday games because there were some wild ones, some quiet ones, and the ones we expected. I know for sure I had a few things wrong on Friday, and I will eat the crow on that. I also don't do the pick'em, so it doesn't really bother me at all if I get it wrong. No sweat off my back. But for y'all out there doing the pick'ems, I hope y'all got yours right. And we're going to round it out with the Monday Night Football predictions. I'm thinking we're pretty light today. So it's a really good chance that we actually finish on time, which for y'all at home that are used to watching us on Monday, we don't finish on time ever. And I do try. We all do try. Some of us, I should say. I do try, though. So that is what's on the docket for today as Greg comes in.
So you really think you was about to just come on here with the shirt and tie, the blazer, not tell anybody? Like, I don't go to work and I could do that too? That's what we're going to do?
I mean, you come from work and take a nap, sir. I came off the train and ran here to get this done.
At least we could have been on the same accord. I feel some type of way.
I think it's cute that you went with the little V-neck sweater because you couldn't find a blazer in time, but it looks nice.
Oh no! I had the blazer there, but this is what I want to work. So since we're doing the work fits, I had to just I had to show up.
Now I'm not gonna lie to you. When I put my camera on, I was like, I feel like a color commentator. Like I kind of got that vibe, especially with the headsets on. Y'all let me know in the comments. I feel like I'm kind of killing this look though. But Greg, how you doing, sir? What's good with you?
Man, listen, the holiday, something about teaching in the holiday season that makes it very difficult. I don't know what it is, but I can't put my finger on it. But anytime it comes close to break, especially Christmas break, my job is a little more difficult than most.
Man, that's because the kids get rambunctious. They trying to be out. They don't want to hear you. They trying to get their gifts from Santa, bro. Like that's all it's about right now. It's like, where are my gifts at? Hold on, before we move on, I want to acknowledge a few people in the chat. Alberto, I see you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Dapper Dan, Dapper Steph, holding it down. And Alonzo Thomas, what happened to December? For real though, bro. What? Oh, I'm sorry. No. You know what? I read it wrong because I'm like thinking we're talking Christmas. He said what happened to Deck. I thought he just abbreviated December. Deck, so you know, Alonzo. Deck is just dealing with a lot of schoolwork right now. The boy is becoming an RA. His schedule is picked up quite a bit. He's been very busy, so he hasn't been able to make the last few shows. Still a part of Smoke and Mirrors, just on hiatus for the time being. We haven't no ETA yet, but he will be back. That's my apologies, thinking that he was abbreviating December, because what really did happen to December, though?
I know, right? I also want to say, Alberto, stop it. Okay, stop it. He's out here calling me fake. You know how he does. He only loves Steph. It's the only Polius he loves. So he has to make it known to everybody in the comment that he loves Steph.
I'm not and love.
Trezana, thank you. We appreciate you. You know, so I couldn't let Steph show me up with the suit.
Yeah, no, you look good, bro. We're doing our thing today.
Thank you.
It's a bros episode. We're doing it right.
Peter, you gonna get your flowers. I need you to relax, bro. I need you to relax because for somebody who just took their L in fantasy basketball, you talking football, real crazy.
Isn't he like out in football too?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make the playoffs in football
either. Yeah. But Greg, I was asking you how you doing. So you said you're doing well. The school day is kind of wild because of December.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, but I'm happy to be on. you know, not be outshined dress code wise.
Yeah, no, I get that. My day was, I said first day on the job went well. Good group of people. It was a
That's dope.
great
That's dope.
first day. Yeah. Sometimes you got to size up your coworkers to see what kind of people they are. There's at least one dude that like I can't tell what his energy is just yet, but I got to keep him at arm's length just to know like what you about, because I don't need someone like that messing with my energy. But everybody else seems to be on point. Day went by very quickly, and before I knew it, I had to be here doing this, which I love. So excited to wrap up the day with this. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right. And we're going to start with the Sunday games recaps.
Before we continue, just to let you guys know, the Sports Hit List is now streaming live on Twitch for those of you that are gamers, or, that's usually what Twitch is there for. But Sports Hit List is expanding their streaming capabilities. So if you want to catch us out on Twitch, feel free to look us up our live stream on Twitch as well. So
what should they look for?
Shout out to Boss Man with expanding.
What's the handle they should look for? Is it just Sports Shell on Twitch?
I got you.
Or is it Sports Hit List?
Yeah, it's Sports HL.
Okay. Consistent.
Sports HL.
So y'all can follow us and start watching us on Twitch. We got it all. We're doing it all. We're on all platforms. Y'all can't miss us now. No excuses. But yeah, Greg, let's get into it now. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get into these games. I'm going to start with one of the games that we got wrong, that we thought was going to be a landslide, and that's Ravens at the Browns. Now, it needs to be noted that Lamar Jackson was out. He went out with an ankle injury early, like real early, and did not have an impact on this game. That being said, the final score was 24-22. Baker Mayfield was going up against, and I should say the Browns defense was going up against a backup quarterback. And this game was close. Huntley, to his credit again, second time this season, did what he needed to do. Relied on his tight end. Mark Andrews had an amazing day. And Rashad Bateman,
tell me about it.
We all thought after, the last 2 weeks was going to become an afterthought in this Baltimore offense, had a first time going over the century mark, if I'm not mistaken. So the Ravens did put together a better game with their backup quarterback. And Greg, I'll ask you this. I know you think about these Browns, but I want you to kind of expand on what it means to go up against a backup quarterback. Yes, he didn't plan for him, but still only win by 2 points. And this is, again, a bad Baltimore's defense.
You're asking me what's my take on the Ravens in this game?
Yeah, well, I'm asking you what your take on the Browns, really. I know you love to talk about the Browns, so I'll let you kind of go off on them.
No. That is a misquote. I do not love to talk about the Browns.
Misnomer?
Yeah.
You enjoy it. Let's not play that game.
I relish in the Browns being bad because I picked them to not make the playoffs, and
exactly.
And you guys know how I feel about Baker Mayfield already.
I thought it was an easy cookie for you to just be like, "Oh my God, how could you not beat the backup quarterback?"
Oh yeah. I'm
throwing you a bone, bro. We could get it to the Ravens after.
But yeah, anytime you face, even if you're not prepared as an NFL defense, if you face the backup quarterback and you're already up by 3 scores, there is no way in hell that this should end up being a 2-point game. And who does that fall? It not only falls on the defense, it falls on Baker Mayfield. Because what is my mantra, Steph?
I got it this time. Baker Mayfield ain't that guy, pal.
I'll take that. But again,
what do you mean you take that? That was it. That's the line.
I mean, that's not my quote, my direct quote. But
what's the direct quote? Please tell me the direct quote.
The direct quote is, he's not that guy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. Whatever, bro. You're over here taking a TikTok trend and then making it into something lesser. And then I say it, you know what? Whatever. Continue.
Speaking of TikTok, shout out to TikTok.
Ain't getting sponsored. Put that cup away.
We don't know that. yet.
We know for sure we're not getting sponsored currently. In the future, maybe, but we don't need no free posts.
Oh, exactly. Who knows? This could be used in a future clip. But again, shout out to TikTok.
All right. Do your thing, bro.
Yeah. Now, the Browns defense held up their end of the bargain, as far as I'm concerned. But I believe the offense only mustered like 3 points after the initial first half onslaught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's embarrassing, especially to a team that, by their coaches' standards, said they have no corners. All right, They have no corners. Patrick Queen is probably their only healthy linebacker left. They're decimated all over the defense. This is a depleted Baltimore Ravens team. They probably have the most injuries in the National Football League. And this is why the Browns are pretenders, because they can't even beat a depleted division rival.
You can't forget about the lack of a run game too. That was
my next thing. What happened to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt?
I was talking about Baltimore, the fact that there is no run game and you don't have to focus on that, but yet they still managed to let this team come back. But yes, Nick Chubb, that's what I was going to talk about, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that to you, but we all know that the Ravens are trotting out there to ghost the running backs past and still finding a way to put up points. This Browns
Davis
team
Murray, I just want to say that he did vulture a touchdown this game.
Did. The Browns should be embarrassed, and I'm a little upset that they won, because I think if Lamar is in there, this game goes differently. And not only on top of that, it plays better for my Browns missing the playoffs pick, because that I'm sticking to my guns there.
I don't think you have any reason to go against that. But as you kind of brought up before, my beef is with the Browns running offense, like just the lack thereof. I just can't believe that Nick Chubb, yes, he had 17 carries, 59 yards, but not leaning on him heavier. Like, we all know he is the best part of this offense. And you had a Kareem Hunt that wasn't in the game due to another re-injuring the ankle. But I can't imagine a offensive coordinator that wouldn't want to give one of the most talented running backs in the game the ball more often. Now, yes, he was featured in the passing game. He had 3 receptions for 6 yards, but that isn't enough. And I truly do believe that if this Browns D leans on Chubb more, they have more success. I don't think this game's as close. Baker just, again, like you said, is not that guy, pal. And you're talking about 22 of 32 for 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an into. Like, he's not going to win you games. He's more often hurting you more than he's helping you. Whereas Nick Chubb, yes, he might have a 2-yard carry, 3-yard carry, but as long as you feed him, he will break off a big run. We've seen that time and time again in his career, that if he gets fed, he will eventually go for pay dirt, go for 6.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, he's at least breaking off a 20-something yarder because he has that kind of breakaway speed and vision. So I'm not surprised. Well, I should say that given everything that happened that's going on with Baltimore, it's surprising to see the Browns only win by 2. I thought that this was like a recipe for success for them, but clearly there's, as bad as we say they are showing that. But they do have a W to show for it. And going up against a division rival, especially, I think that is the major key there. And really, this Ravens offense needs Lamar. Huntley he's someone that I think is serviceable if the team is better, if he has a running game, if he has a defense. All right, if he has one or the other, I think that they can win with Huntley. He's shown enough to me in that time frame to at least be a competent game manager. But
agreed.
Given that they don't have either of those, to expect Huntley to not go out there and try to win and keep them afloat in this division, I just can't see it. So I don't know the read on Lamar's injury and what he's looking like for next week.
I hate that he was carted off, especially with the fantasy football playoffs on the cusp.
Bro, there are a lot of sick people out there. Like, I know,
I'm one of them.
Okay, before even talking about playoffs, right? Just the mere fact that you were in week 14, your final week to try and make it, and you had Lamar going against the Browns. You were looking at Lamar Jackson like, yes, this is it. This is gonna be my regular season winner. This is going to be the reason I get into the postseason or I secure a bye week. And then he goes down after 4 completions. For 1 point, maybe you got that
1.43 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on 2 sides of the spectrum because I had him in my league. Thankfully, Pook's team, Karan Carter, his team is trash. So I got lucky there.
Bro, that's like every league, honestly, Pook. You know what? Let me not say that. In his work league that the both of us are in,
yeah,
Karan's team has the second most points for in the league. I don't know how, but he does.
But I was on the opposite side of that where Phil, shout out to Phil, VIP member. He had him, and him going down allowed me to get a first round playoff bye, the overall 2 seed in the league. So I caught both sides of it.
Yeah, I'm reading here right now. He didn't suffer a high ankle sprain, so he's not going to miss multiple weeks. They're going to see in a few days and check.
Yeah, but it sounds like he's going to miss time in general.
I mean, they haven't really confirmed that. He has a chance to play this weekend. So they're saying that they're hopeful, but that's what any coach would say in a situation like that. It's dire that he needs to start, especially if you're Green Bay. If there's a chance Lamar is gonna play, you're gonna plan for Lamar. So it helps them out either way. But let's move on. I want to talk about a game that was confirmed. We knew who the winner was going to be because we knew who they were going up against, and that is a bad team in the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. Manny, I'm looking at you. All right. Bad team, but a 48-9 shellacking was, whew, man. And we spoke about this a little bit. I think every week we kind of talk about KC, like, okay, you know, they changed it up. Andy Reid has made the adjustment that he needed to make. This defense is much better than they have been. Key for them in that win. But I'll ask you, Greg, do you have confidence in this team come playoff time?
The Chiefs?
Produce? Yes.
I do, because similar to, if you remember their Super Bowl run, the defense got consistently better towards the end of the season. Not saying they were this, you know, Baltimore Ravens as defense with Ray Lewis in the 2000s, but they got pressure on the quarterback and they created turnovers, you know, and that's what led to because if we think about it, the Chiefs offense didn't have a great day in terms of passing. They didn't. And they still absolutely
spectacular.
They destroyed the Raiders. And after finding out the Raiders went and like celebrated pregame on the Chiefs logo, I'm surprised the Chiefs didn't put up more than 50 on them, because that's just dumb. Like, why would you do that? Never in the history of sports has anything like that have ever gone well. Yeah. Like even when you playing in the street back in the day, and we were playing football against the other block, and the other block came and talked smack on our block, we went over there and destroyed them. It never works in any part of life to do that.
That's true. I mean, well, it's a great motivator to be your best person, to be your best self in that moment when someone disrespects you like that. So I agree that it doesn't help to give the other team motivation to want to beat you more. You were saying, though, I want to cut you off.
Yeah, but I do think, because the Chiefs, they went through their rough patch, you know, and they still found ways to win. And whenever a team finds ways to win early in the season, they're going to become dangerous late in the season.
I agree with that. I think that is a fair assessment of the situation. Now, when you look at the standings, you have the Chiefs at 9-4. You have the Chargers at 8-5. And what's interesting about that is coming up Thursday, the Chiefs are at the Chargers.
I can't wait for that.
All right, now that's a big game, and we don't really have to talk about the Chargers. I planned on it a little bit, but like, Chargers went against the Giants and they beat up on them Giants. So like, what were we expecting? Kenny Golladay, who? And also, for those of you that keep track episode to episode, yes, Deck hasn't been here. I'm waiting for him to come back, because if you do remember, there was a certain someone, Declan, spouting off about how Kenny Golladay is a proven receiver. He's a better sign than Corey Davis. Better sign than Corey Davis. And Corey Davis is like not even worth mentioning.
I hope your Wi-Fi is on in Buffalo, bro.
The boy got LTE, I'm sure. His parents' plan. He can definitely be looking at this still, all right? But there's going to come a time we need to talk about that, because Kenny Golladay has been an absolute dumpster fire. Him and Oscar the Grouch might as well be partners in crime. They are brothers as far as I'm concerned. They are twinsies. All right. Them boys are both trash. They are both trash. All right. You can clip this all you want. That's a fact. All right. Giants have buyer's remorse. And yes, Corey Davis hasn't been spectacular, but he's produced more than Kenny Golladay has. And that has a good portion of it has to do with the play, which we're going to get to. But this game coming up Thursday, Chiefs at Chargers, is going to be very good. Something that can determine the seeding in, rather the leader in that division. Greg, do you see a scenario where the Chargers potentially do take this division? Now, let me tell you this: after Thursday, the Chiefs have the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Broncos to finish out the year. So having that in mind, do you think that there's a scenario where the Chargers could potentially take this? I'll give you the Chargers also, by the way.
Is the game in Arrowhead or is it in SoFi?
It's in SoFi.
I with the way Justin Herbert is playing, all depends on the health of Austin Eckler. If there's
Austin Eckler could have gone, I'm pretty sure. They held him out because of the Thursday night game, is what the report said. So okay. I think they taped him up. I don't know if you watched that game.
I saw it. It was like 2 rolls of tape.
I honestly, I didn't know how he could run with that. It seemed very uncomfortable. But yeah,
shout out to that trainer though. that tape job was elite.
She went through like 3 or 4 rolls, bro. But yeah, you were saying I want you to finish on this.
I do think that there's an outside chance because those Chiefs games are not going to be easy. I think they're going to play them tough, but ultimately, you said, is there a chance? I said there's a chance, but I do think ultimately the Chiefs are going to wrap this division up. I thought you froze.
No. I was looking. I was reading the comments just to get a gauge. Yeah.
Peter, I need you to relax, bro. I need you to relax.
He does need to relax. But I like Alonzo. Alonzo does believe that the Chargers can take the division. And
so I don't think it's outlandish, to be honest. I don't.
Not at all. I mean, well, they have the Texans, they have the Broncos and the Raiders to finish out. Like the only team that either of them are facing that you can say the defense might do something is the Broncos, I believe, of them.
Do you remember like 4 weeks ago when I said the Raiders were going to finish 3rd in this division when they were like in 1st place?
I think it might be on the tape. They're 4th. They're the bottom of the division. But
where is Elijah Muhammad? Where's that guy?
I forgot about Elijah Muhammad, actually, the alter ego of Manuel. But yeah, I think I can see the Chargers taking this. I think that Herbert without Keenan Allen looked phenomenal, and that Giants defense isn't awful, right? Like they're middle of the pack. They can get some stops. We've seen them do that this season. I think that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right. I was gonna yield to you and then say, you ain't shit, but I'm glad that you didn't have an ain't shit moment. But yes, I think that this Giants D is decent enough, and what Herbert did to them is exactly what you do, especially when you don't have your number 1 receiver. I think that he performed very well, and going up against a tougher KCD is going to be interesting. That offense isn't prolific, and we have seen that the Chargers D can have some big takeaways. They have these bend don't break moments, but that Thursday game is going to be very interesting, and I can see the Chargers winning that because Eckler obviously needs to be healthy. He was peppering Mike Williams, which you'd like to see. And you also had a Jared Cook sighting in the end zone. Cook doesn't get a lot of targets, but the targets tend to count either for first downs on big 3rd down conversions or like in the end zone. So
and what you're seeing is
also Guyton.
See, that's what I was gonna say. The emergence of Jalen Guyton and Josh Palmer.
It was just last year. It was just like last year, bro. This is exactly what happened last year. Guyton made a name for himself last year, doing exactly what he's doing this season. That was spectacular. The catch was great. Guyton is a really good receiver. He's shown us that he can, I would say, in his role, right? He's not someone that I would look at as like he's a wide receiver 2 or 3 and he could be a 1. No, I don't think he can take elite coverage, but he operates very well in his role. And he's exactly what Herbert needs because Herbert does dump and dink and dunk a lot. But if you watch his games, every game he's taking shots down the field. They wait to dial it up. And they're mostly successful when they dial it up. So I believe that Herbert, Guyton, Palmer, all of them, they're going to be fine. Shout out to the
rookie, Josh Palmer. Yeah.
They look like a well-oiled machine. And when they get Keenan Allen back, I'm assuming he might come back. I don't know what the update is on his the COVID testing. I don't believe he's vaccinated. Or else they would have updated and said that he needed to get like 2 more negative tests or 3. I think I forget what the number is. But I do believe that is something that we'll have to see, but I'm excited for that game. We'll see how that goes.
Hoping for a shootout.
Same.
Actually, that means I got to drop the KC defense.
I don't give a damn about your defense. I have Herbert in several leagues. I want him to go off. It is playoff time, my friend. Playoff time.
Right.
All right. Everybody needs to shine. Let's keep it moving. I kind of mentioned this team, and that's the Jets. All right. Saints at the Jets. And I picked up the Saints D in fantasy, right? I'm going to tell you that right now. As a Jets fan, I picked up the Saints D because I knew who was behind center. And I knew who wasn't in the backfield. I also knew about a wide receiver the day before who has, was it a quad injury?
Bro.
All week, we're getting reports about, practice and who's injured or who's probable, questionable. All of a sudden, end of the week, we find out that the most important wide receiver on that team, Elijah Moore, is on IR?
Best wide receiver in New York.
Hands down. And a part of me understands a little bit because, yes, the defense is planning for Elijah Moore, and that's something that now they have a hiccup, but there's no other option after him. And I think just for fantasy purposes, especially how important fantasy is, this is a quick aside because I will get into the details of the game a little bit, but this can't happen. All right. There are just a lot of, especially in week 14, a lot of fantasy managers that I'm sure were upset. And knowing how fantasy does push the NFL now, seeing how everybody covers it, I truly believe that this is something that just can't go on moving forward. There has to be better reporting of issues like this. You can't be putting somebody on IR end of the week. No updates the whole week.
So Peter, making a non-Cowboys related statement, said the Jets should just forfeit the season. And frankly, I'm not opposed to it at all. I am not opposed to it. The idea of how they treated the Elijah Moore injury and then Corey Davis is out for the season out of nowhere, just played the week before. Then Tevin Coleman's in concussion protocol. We just find out about it, late. Just
that was a small blip, though. I mean,
yeah, but he was a starting running back.
He was. He gets fed, like 15 plus carries.
It's not even so much about the coach at this point. It's the top down, the front office from Woody Johnson on down. How this team operates is a recipe for disaster. You know, and full disclosure, Steph, I wanted to bring Pops on, but he was a little busy just so he could talk about it from his Jets fan perspective, because if we suffer like this, I can only imagine what he's dealing with.
I've talked to him off air quite a lot about it, and he has a lot to say. Hopefully we can get him on.
Pops, if you're watching this, next time we talk some Jets, we want you on here.
No camera's shy, but we'll get him on. I got this question for you, though. Have you, since K to the J, I see you making a little appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So I do your little thing. I see you kidding. What are you doing? There you go. Make a move. All right. So, since Zach Wilson has come back, there was a lot of talk beforehand, right? There were a lot of different shows out there, a lot of different commentators, a lot of different talking heads that were speaking to the fact that LaFleur went up to the booth, and that's the reason why we saw the amazing game from White. We saw a great game from Josh Johnson. We saw even a good game from Joe Flacco. And it was all about, well, when Zach Wilson comes back, he's going to excel just the same way, right? We're going to see big games from Zach Wilson because his offensive coordinator can see the field now. He's calling better plays. If anybody has eyes and is watching the Jets since Zach Wilson started, I don't think you can say with confidence at all, with a straight face, that Zach Wilson has benefited from having LaFleur up in the booth, upstairs. It just hasn't happened. So, Greg, I want to ask you, what do you see? Do you see any improvements at all? Because for me, it's hard to find them, but do you see any improvements at all in Zach Wilson's game since he is taking back over the helm?
I mean, the only minor improvement was the first half against the Eagles, but then he went back to the Zach Wilson I thought he was since he got drafted. And that's a kid who doesn't know how to read NFL defenses. That's a kid who doesn't know how to make adjustments. That's a kid who doesn't know how to take the easy play, especially when they get down.
Eyes are always downfield when there's nothing down there.
Especially when we get down. Once we get down big, and he's under center, I know for a fact we're not going to come back because he doesn't just know how to chip away. He always wants to make the big play. And this is what we get, right, for going off that one play in that stupid ass pro day. I will never forgive that. And last night, even though
body throw 60 yards,
even no defender on him, we knew the Bears had no chance going in that game. What you saw from Justin Fields last night is the very reason he should have been the number 2 pick in that draft behind Trevor Lawrence, the same way he was number 2 behind Trevor Lawrence since high school. You saw a fight, you saw poise. You saw him take shots down the field, but accurate shots. You saw him move the offense. You saw him in the first half go blow for blow with Aaron Rodgers. Does any football fan out there think Zach Wilson stands a chance at going blow for blow with Aaron Rodgers for half a quarter, much less a whole half? The Jets organization needs to be just blown up from within. And I don't know if any coach is going to come.
They always implode. They always blow up from within. They implode every year.
I was talking about the front office.
Yeah, I know what you meant, but like as you said, it sounded kind of funny.
But but I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know if a coach matters. Say we get Eric Bieniemy, right? Like if he comes on, if we had him instead of Saleh.
I'm about to say you want to get rid of Saleh already.
No. I'm saying like say we had him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to make a difference because again, it seems like the philosophy is coming from up top.
You know, I don't know if that's the case, honestly, because when I look at that sideline during the bad games, I'm talking about like the ugly games where it's the first quarter and you already know the Jets don't have a chance at all. And that's typically the case. But I'm talking about sometimes where the score is just lopsided early like that. I truly do believe that Robert Saleh hasn't hit his stride yet, right? And I'm not talking about with winning. I'm talking about with his personality on the field, on the sideline, because Saleh coming into the season, a lot of talk, a lot of bravado, all gas, no brakes, like that. I loved hearing that. I love the quotable lines. I love the energy. And if you look at him on the sideline, when they're losing, he's a mute, like he looks upset, not a smile on his face. It looks like he takes every 3 and out, every poor defensive stand, every bad offensive stand
That's a lot
to heart. And I truly do believe it is, but I truly do believe that energy, if I could see that from the camera when in my home, when you're on the sideline and your coach is exuding that, it does have an effect on the player. So I think we talked about him changing the culture. That energy to me is important. And I would like to see more of him being unfazed. He seems very fazed by everything that happens in the game. And that to me is a product of a new coach, especially when you don't have a pillar, like maybe a veteran offensive coordinator or a veteran defensive coordinator that you can rely on, someone that can help you out when you need a lifeline. The man is drowning and there's literally no lifeline around him because there's nobody else on this staff that can provide the kind of support he needs. And that's what we talked about this, I think, weeks ago. But it's very important to note that is a major factor in why this team does not have that bounce back in them. That, we lost this game, maybe we have a little fight in them. It's like you said, top down. Robert Saleh is a part of that. And I think he has to change his mentality, the way he is on the sidelines, to still have an impact on his team, because what you do in the locker room is good, but what you do on the sidelines is just as important, if not more important.
And real quick, I don't want to belabor too much on the Jets, but since the draft,
it's our team, man. I don't care. We don't talk about it. Who has a problem with it? Say in the comments, there's a problem with it. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody. I see what type of energy we on today. I see what type of energy we on.
You see the fit, bro. I don't take nothing from nobody right now.
I said it during the draft. I said it before the draft. Just because you draft Zach Wilson, it doesn't mean he had to start. We are in this, this instant gratification culture where if they're a high top 5 draft pick, they have to start. No. You saw what Mike White could do. You saw what the offense looked like under Josh Johnson. You saw what it looked like under Joe Flacco. If he was hurt and he wasn't necessarily, quote unquote, mentally ready to come back, because that's what they said on one of the broadcasts, that he struggled to come back mentally, leave him there. Let him sit and watch, because clearly whatever he watched before is not translated.
Yeah, I could really agree on that. I was about to hit another point, but I will spare you all from hearing more of the Jets' misery, because we all know it's a part of me is looking across the way and being like, at least we're not the Giants. Boy, how the Giants do you let Guyton get behind them on a 3rd and 11? I mean, and that to me was like a big play, because like that led to a touchdown and they needed a big stop. And I know the Jets, yes, they're bad. They have their moments, but I saw that and I was just like, glad I'm a Jets fan right now. They just hadn't played at that point. So I'm like, glad I'm a Jets fan right now. But yeah, it's all bad in New York when it comes to football. But I think the Jets have a brighter future.
I think they have a couple of younger playmakers that, have a brighter outlook.
Kadarius Toney can't stay on the field. He would be someone that's similar to Elijah Moore. But
oddly enough, Elijah Moore went in the second round after Kadarius Toney, which still doesn't make sense to me. So that's another snafu by Dave Gettleman.
Steal. Steal the bacon. Remember that game?
Yeah, I remember that. That game was fire.
But let's move on though. I'm gonna shout out Peter because I'm finally gonna talk about those Cowboys, right?
He was waiting for this all
He
weekend.
was waiting for this. He always, every time we start, I see, well, how about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? He went Skip Bayless. I swear. I really do appreciate when the Cowboys lose because Shannon Sharp, shout out to Uncle Shay, like he does his thing. Unc does his thing. I really love when he goes after them Cowboys. And yes, they won 27-20. All right. I hear that. It wasn't so much so that we saw the resurgence of a Dak Prescott. No, it wasn't that. The defense was really good. Running game was but to me, there's going to be some bias, right now, what I'm about to say. But on Friday, I said the way that the Washington football team wins is by handing the ball off to Gibby. Gibby has to be the engine. What did he do? He fumbled. Yes, I understand it was a big fumble. But Riverboat Ron benches him after that, and you play the rookie over him?
At that point, this is your bell cow.
Yeah. Kyle Allen comes in. Like, I feel like you lose by one touchdown. Yes, they were battling. How do you not have Antonio Gibson, one of the most talented receivers on? And also, they lost Terry McLaurin. Like, you had to have Gibson on the field, and they did it. And I hate the notion of a head coach when a player fumbles. It's like, oh, you have to get benched. Why are you benching them? Like, oh, they're gonna do it again. Like, you have to teach them a lesson. Isn't it more important to win? Like, that is very frustrating to me. It is, and rightfully so. They lose by a touchdown, right? Am I saying that Antonio Gibson provides them with the win? 100%? No. Are the chances greater with him on the field? Yes. And they did not have him there. And I thought that was a very poor move on their part. So yes, the Cowboys got to win. All right. Peter, you get to be excited about that. They're still a first place in the division. I don't think that was going to change. You know, it wasn't like, yes, Washington was on a roll, but there's still a lot to worry about for those Cowboys. I don't know if you agree with that or disagree with that.
Yo, Peter, I need you to not sound like a single bitter baby mother in the comments.
Oh my God.
Talking about
how did baby mamas get a shot right now? Baby mamas are chilling at home, bro. Like, why you taking shots?
Talking about we hated and they won. Bro, we make picks every week. We assess what we see. We did not hate. Like, what?
At least he admits Dak has to play better.
Yeah.
22 of 39, 211 yards, 1 TD, and 2 picks.
But we mentioned
that's your king. That's your king.
We said Dak had to play better, but that's not who I want to shout out. I want to shout out the man himself, Micah Parsons, the guy who is throwing his hat in the Defensive Player of the Year ring. Ooh. And he's gonna run away with Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's a landslide at this point.
Hold on. Yeah, keep talking. You got something to say? Keep talking. I gotta look for something.
All right. And what he's doing essentially, he's making the 10 teams that passed on him, regardless of need, feel real bad about it. Because can you imagine a Micah Parsons on the Jets right now? What you got?
Well, here's the thing, right? So we haven't talked about this league much on the show, but shout out to Ray Jarvis over the Gray Area and the Rap Roundtable. Great guy, loves opinions. He has a lot of opinions. He also has a fantasy football league that I happen to join this year, and it was looking real bad for your boy. All right.
Tragic.
Shut your mouth. All right. I was out in center field trying to secure a championship, right? When the draft was happening. I had my phone in my back pocket, mind you. I was trying to multitask. And I did not know that he supercharges running backs. And so running backs are very true, but defense is a dime a dozen. You can find a defense on the waiver wire. Running backs a lot scarcer. I did not know how important they were. I didn't draft 2 stud running backs, and my whole season was tough. Right. I'm in like 9th place, 10th place. I needed a lot of people to lose in order for me to get into the playoffs. And everyone except for one person lost. And I'm currently on the way to winning. So it's a wash. But you talked about Parsons, and I have him on this team because you have one defensive player in this league. And I picked up Parsons halfway through the season. He's been money. So I agree. This is a man that is working his way into Defensive Player of the Year. He is impactful on that defense. This is a Dallas defense that clearly needs playmakers like him and Diggs, because Dak Prescott ain't doing it right now. He just really isn't where he needs to be offensively, nor is the running game. And how about them Cowboys sounds cute when you get a W, but when the games start to matter in the postseason, what are we talking about? I don't know if the Cowboys have the offensive punch right now to make the noise that a lot of Cowboy fans are expecting.
What was the Cowboys' way to winning? Right, running the football, running it down a defensive throw, and they have not been able to do. Yeah, they have not been able to do that successfully since Denver kind of exposed them. And we really got to ask ourselves, how healthy is Zeke? He does not look like your regular Zeke that was, the Russian champ from a few years back. So Dak needs to shoulder the offensive load the same way he did early on in the season. If he can't do that, it's going to be a short playoff stint for the Cowboys. And to be honest, this is a team that should have Super Bowl aspirations, especially with a Micah Parsons and a Trayvon Diggs on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm actually, let me go over and see what's Pete over here saying. I don't want to hear this Cowboy fan. Oh, see, look at you, how petty we are. Why are we focusing on you are first in the division, Cowboys. How do the Jets win games? Oh, wait, they don't. And
Peter is showing why people don't like Cowboy fans right now.
No, it's perfectly fine, right? Because the Jets weren't supposed to win this season. No one expected them to. All right. All of us are calling for the Cowboys to take this division because they're the better team. But they're looking real sus right now. So, yes, you can talk about the Jets, but when your Cowboys look as sus as they do, you need to be worrying about your own damn team, because I'm going to be at home. My Jets will be at home watching y'all lose, all right, on national television. So worry about the team, Playboy. But yes, I agree with you, Greg, as far as the Cowboys go in that regard. And I think Riverboat Ron needs to get it together and watch this show and take my advice and hand Gibby that damn ball. All right.
It's not just him. It's guys like, and you know, when you know you're wrong, when you do things that Urban Meyer does, that's how you know you're wrong. Right. When it comes benching your best running back in a game that you need to win for playoff contention. Not saying that the Jags are in playoff contention. Yeah. Go ahead.
I will. No. I'll let you talk about that because I know you did. I actually left it off here. I didn't want to talk about it. I'm still sore about it. I'm a little sour. I'm gonna let you go off on that. But before we get there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we get there, I do want to talk about this 49ers game. I'm done. I'm done with the Cowboys. I'm done with the Cowboys. Peter, you got your moment. Done. All right. 49ers at Bengals. This is a game I thought was going to be pretty good, pretty competitive. I was expecting to be close, which it was. I mean, it went to OT, right? But
yeah,
do you get the feeling with Joe Burrow? You know how you have some starting pitchers in baseball. I'm gonna bring it back to baseball, where their first 3-4 innings
versatility
are just trash, right? And you're like, man, I wish that you could throw a whole half game in the bullpen before coming out here so that you're good to go and you're finally clicking on all cylinders. Joe Burrow kind of feels that way to me, right? Because that first half was a very forgettable one, but that's not the first half that has been forgettable. He has a lot of bad first halves where he's not hitting his receivers. He isn't, and they say it was a touchdown was called back. Jamar Chase had a 30, 40-yard touchdown. I think that was called back. But Joe Burrow gets started very slow. I mean, it is to the point where it's like, if you're going up against a better team, how can you withstand? He finished with 348 yards and 2 touchdowns. He didn't have a pick, but this team had a lot of
almost picks.
Yeah, true, but no picks.
Yeah.
and this is a game without Mixon, which we know Mixon has been their engine. I just, not just the fact that we traded for him in our league, but we saw what Joe Burrow can do, and he has regressed mightily. When we had Cam on here, shout out to Cam. He was just saying that, it's not one thing necessarily with this team, but they just have young guys and they have to get it together. I want to hear from you. What do you make of this game as far as, 49ers just squeezing it out, but a Cincinnati Bengals team that we thought could make some noise and has been regressing as of late?
I think what you saw is the tale of two kind of middle of the pack teams. And shout out to Cam, because what he says, right, a Bengals team that hasn't figured out how to close games, right? That was a team, the Bengals had several opportunities to win. Even in OT, they got the ball first and were driving down the field and then had to settle for a field goal. There's no reason the way the offense was moving that ball, they should have stalled like that.
Yeah.
It just out. It was like the offense got into a fender bender in traffic just out of nowhere. You know,
now it's on deck for everybody. Just pop, 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 pop.
And then the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed in OT. I get it. Kittle made a great catch, you know, but great players do great things. Mm-hmm. But my problem with that is you allow Jimmy G to drive down the field. Jimmy G is the next one on my QB list. He's not that guy, right? He is carried by, the running game is without Elijah Mitchell. They kind of lean on Debo and Jeff Wilson. It was, but they essentially had Kittle carry them. I don't know how the Bengals left the middle of the field so wide open all day.
It's kind of how the Jets did, right? For Goddard against the Eagles.
But my thing is, like, how did you game plan for that and then still allow it to happen in that way? It's not like they were doing anything special. You know, it was very Gronk-like to me, and they weren't even running 2 tight end sets, but he was just in the seam, just ripping off 20, 30-yard games.
They were fearful of Debo Samuels in the backfield because that guy is just immaculate. Truly a piece of work. But yeah, I want to shout out Debo because, like, he had a great game coming back off of injury, looking good in the backfield, not featured as much. I'm very surprised at how whenever he is getting more carries in the backfield, they're not at least splitting him wide.
Yeah.
Or throwing to him out the backfield. I just find
he only had like one target.
One reception. I don't know if it was one target. I have to see, but he was one reception for 22 yards.
It wasn't many targets. And I really would love, if I had a chance to interview Kyle Shanahan, I really would want to ask him, what did you see in Brandon Ayuk between last season, the start of this season, that you felt he couldn't be featured the way he's featured at the end of the season? Like, nothing to me changed. So what really happened? What was the real story there?
You're a better person than me because I don't have no nice words for Kyle Shanahan. All right. The second round pick. How are we taking running backs in the second round like he did? Talking about Sherman is our guy all preseason. Thinking, sure, Trey Sermon. All of a sudden Mitchell starts and Trey Sermon's a garbage bag. And you have Ayuk, who we all thought going into the season might challenge Debo for targets. He's in the doghouse, and as soon as he comes out, productive right away. And no one can see the difference between early in the season and now. That shows you that Kyle Shanahan knew what he was talking about, that he saw something. I truly believe that he's seeing something ridiculous, something foolish in these players, and he's missing the talent potentially and losing out on like key playmakers because maybe if he's not in the doghouse early in the season, there's more wins there. Maybe he gets the targets he needs and produces.
Shout out to Alonzo once again. He said Jimmy G does this, though. He just can't stay healthy. But the other point that he made, I'll agree with. Hendrickson getting hurt in the third quarter was huge because he's their best pass rusher on the Bengals D-line. And not allowing Jimmy G to kind of sit back there and allowing those crossing routes to develop, that made a huge difference in OT.
Pick him apart.
Yeah.
And I will say it was one target, one reception. So he only had the one target, and he took it for 22 yards.
Shout out. Let me get my Declan on. So I was right?
That boy felt that all the way in Buffalo. Speaking of Buffalo, great segue. You're welcome. Bills at the Bucks, huh?
What a game!
What a game indeed. And you know what, Greg? I gotta shout you out, right? Because you've been doing this for a while, and you know I want to just give the people something they can look forward to, not tonight, but in the future. And that's a segment that's just going to be called "You're Not That Guy, Pal." Because can we look at a Josh Allen and be like, "You're not that guy, pal"? Because and I will shout out Paul Lawson because he has been talking about this Bills offense and when they go against better teams. And this isn't exactly a Bucs defense from last year, but they played well. And yes, come back late, got forced into OT, but you saw a Josh Allen that did not look comfortable for most of the game, that could not get the throws off, that rushed but at the half had all the rushing yards. Not one running back rushed at all. And I don't think that's the first time in NFL history. I don't know if it was the first time in a long time, but it seemed like the first time ever that you saw. I think it was 4 carries for I forget how many yards, but he
like
ran
40 some yards or so. 5 carries for like 50 some yards.
Not one running back carry. And I can see that and also see why this team is struggling when no one has to stay honest to the running game. You can really just drop back everyone in coverage and wait for it to go, which, yes, you'll have a few runs from Allen, but you saw how he struggled. What'd you make of this game, Greg?
So I'm going to do something that I don't often do here, and I'm going to defend Josh Allen. Yeah, and he was in a walking boot today. So that tells you that he played that whole game and he was not entirely healthy, which makes you question.
Before that?
I don't think so.
I mean, maybe he got hurt towards the end of the game,
which makes me question the game plan of him running so much even more.
Yeah,
very gritty.
12 carries, 109 yards, and a touchdown. I think at some point in the game he did get hurt. I don't think he went into the game hurt, and maybe he got some gritty yards and made it a game. But
what I will say about this Buffalo offense, it didn't show up in the first half. The Buffalo offense did not show up, but they made adjustments. So shout out to Brian Daboll. They made adjustments in the second half, and they were able to make it a game and take it into OT. But overall, this is a Bills team outside of the Chiefs, when they weren't the Chiefs, have not beat any playoff contenders. They found themselves a couple weeks ago in first place. Now they're looking at being a game out of the playoffs, depending on how the AFC shakes out the next couple weeks. Mm-hmm. That would be such a failed season if the Bills do not make the playoffs. After being some people Super Bowl pick, some people pick to win the division.
Yeah,
and I would be kind of clutch if they didn't make the playoffs, and that was Declan's first show back, because he would have a lot to answer to.
He'd have a lot to answer to. I don't know if there'd be too many words.
And so what I kind of make of this is, when the Jets have a better stable of running backs than you do outside of the quarterback position, you have a problem. You have a problem. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary are garbage. At this point, we can call them what they are. They're bust. Even in the second or third round or whenever they were picked, they are not good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got Ramondre Stevenson, a guy nobody ever heard of, for the Patriots, just absolutely bulldozing people. And you always like,
he had a great preseason, actually.
He did. But what I'm saying is, you have a Patriots team on the opposite end of the spectrum finding these guys in the back end of the draft that find a way to be good. Whereas, because it's not like Buffalo has a bad offensive line. I don't want to hear the offensive line is the issue. These running backs can't find a hole, even if Moses parted the Red Sea for them.
Rude. Damn. On that note, I'll spare the running back room over there in Buffalo from hearing anything else. We'll move on, because there's that. Wow. We went biblical. Greg, I want to give you a chance to speak to the shellacking, the egg lighting that happened to the Jaguars and Urban Meyer, a head coach who admitted that he doesn't know why last week, when we knew that James Robinson was hurt, he benched him for a portion of the game. And then at the end of the game, meaningless carries, put him in the game to run the ball, knowing he's your best playmaker. You put him in the game to potentially get hurt. And then this week, barely handing the ball off to him. Yes, they lost 20-0. Yes, the Titans were in control all game. But that isn't a score where you're like, we can't run anymore. 6 carries. Unforgivable, really. I've never had this feeling of someone needing to be fired so badly. Adam Gase is the last time I can remember that. But even with Gase, I feel like I didn't feel this same way as I feel about Urban Meyer. The man is inept. And this is what you hear from the reports about how he treats the players like they're not adults, like they're not grown men, like they're still, like he's dealing with college students. Yes, ownership wanted him badly, but you're doing yourself, your star quarterback and Trevor Lawrence, no favors by keeping this man at the helm. He does not deserve to be a head coach in the NFL. But Greg, I said I wasn't going to say nothing, but it came out of my soul.
And Adam Gase is a great reference, because at points I did feel similarly. But there's the difference with Urban Meyer is the smugness of everything. And I think that's what turns people off. Big sucker. And the fact that he keeps coming out and saying all these reports are lies, but the reports keep coming out. So even if they are lying, you're telling us people are going to lengths to lie so much about you that they want you fired this badly before you even finish the season. Okay. Yep. So that this needs to be some type of self-reflection, some introspection, and I don't think he's capable of doing it. Excuse you.
I think Kaylee's agreeing that Urban Meyer just is not that guy, pal.
Ironically enough, the last time she came in here yelling like that, I was also talking about Urban Meyer. So that must be something.
She's here. She sees it.
Mommy.
Daddy duties. I get it.
Mommy.
We all get it.
No. Go with KJ.
Mommy.
Yeah. And here's the biggest thing with me. If you're Marvin Jones played for probably what is the worst football organization over the last 30 years, the Detroit Lions, and you have never once heard Marvin Jones talk bad about coaching or ownership.
Respected in the locker room. He's a quiet guy. Like he doesn't speak out like that. He's not one of these rambunctious
you have reports of this guy being so angry that he left the practice facility. And this is one of those situations where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Shout out to Smoke and Mirrors. Smoke. But I want this guy fired yesterday for Trevor Lawrence's sake, for James Robinson's sake, because these are players that are being stunted by his ineptitude. And it's a shame that he thinks he could treat grown men as if they're college players. These dudes are not on scholarship. They're getting paid the same way you are. And then the belittling of the staff, like if you
blaming the staff, not just belittling, but blaming them for any of his faults.
He takes zero accountability.
Yeah.
And if he wants to go out to bars and rub up on co-eds, that's his business. Don't be a coach in the NFL. Don't be a coach in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. It gives me like Chip Kelly vibes, honestly, too.
I think he's worse. He makes Chip Kelly look competent.
I did not. No. I did not say that he is better or worse than Chip Kelly. I just said it gives me Chip Kelly vibes. All right, he's definitely much worse than Chip Kelly. It's not even close. And I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence because the kid is talented and I'd like to see him progress throughout the season, but he's being held back by an inept head coach. And you hate to see one of the most talented, once in a generation kind of players that he is come into the league, struggle the way he is, and not have the support and the tools to improve. He's shown leadership. I think he handled himself pretty well. That's one thing to say and to give him credit for, but by no means has Urban Meyer helped him in one bit at all, not one iota.
Bro.
Go.
Last thing. Shad Khan, that's the owner of the Jaguars, right? He should only have one job if he wants to keep his players or have any faith in this team progressing in the future with these high draft picks. And that is fire the entire staff, not just Urban Meyer, everyone who came with him, out the door. Clean house.
Yeah, no, I agree. And
oh, there it is. At least once an episode, Steph. Oh, that was quick. Shout out to DJ Two Step Steph.
I was saying that shout out to Peter. He was saying that Chip Kelly was 10 times better. And
it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't a comparison to say who was worse, who was better, but how the players were received the coaching from these head coaches coming from college. I just think it's very similar in that way, that the players, they were not rubbed the right way by the coaching style, right? When you transition from college to the NFL and you don't really know how to approach it, especially when you have the ego that these coaches have coming from successful programs the way that they did, especially the way that Meyer was sought after. That's all I'm saying. All y'all at home, I know what I said when we started. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna finish on time. It's 8:03. Shut up. All right, I know it.
Yo, what they do to you, bro?
Hey, I know there's somebody out there like, oh yeah, look what he did. He said this. I'm just saying it right now. If anyone's saying that, y'all can shut up. Anybody else is not saying that, I got love for y'all. It's not that I don't have love for the people I'm saying shut up, but I know it. I'm a little upset, but that's me venting. I'm sorry. I take it back. But let's move on. I want to get into the top 5 quarterbacks. Every Monday we're doing this. Top 5 quarterbacks, right. Week 14. Greg, hit me with yours.
All right. So real quick. I had Justin Herbert at number 5 last week. He stays at number 5. All right.
Okay.
And then
Kaylee, want to make a pick?
I know, right? So after number 4, I'm gonna go with Josh Allen because he did make up for in the second half.
Mhm.
I have Pat Mahomes at 3, Aaron Rodgers at 2,
Wow.
Tom
Where's
Brady
Pat
at
Mahomes?
1.
Pat Mahomes is where last week? I can't remember now.
I don't think he was on my list last week. I think I dropped him off for Justin Herbert.
Did you? Yeah, part of me feels like he was up there.
It's possible. I can't remember. We got to write this down.
We really do. I mean, I feel like I loosely I have mine like written down, and then I feel like after that it's kind of like coming.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
What?
I'm missing my guy. How can I be missing my guy? Thank you, Jared, for reminding me. Matthew Stafford, he wasn't on there.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little distracted, so I'm upset at you for missing it. But you're right.
I'm upset too. That being said, I'm gonna have a premonition. And before we get into the game, I'm gonna slot Stafford in at 4, and I'm gonna take Josh Allen off the list.
Wow. You honestly, and I don't know if the people at home feel this way, but your list could go left at any moment.
Oh,
Literally.
absolutely.
It's like a 10 could go to a 1. Like a 3 could go to an 8.
I feel like the top 6 are somewhat interchangeable.
It kind of feels like you're doing the cha-cha slide. It's like slide to the left, but the left is like all the way the other side of the room instead of just like 2 spaces over. Like you do a lot. That's all I'm saying. And
hold on. Shout out to Jared in the comments. And part of the reason I made that switch is because Jared is in the comments and didn't listen to the reaction that I wanted.
Because he stank. Damn. Shout out to Rook, man. As bad as his Stafford golf takes are, which they're very bad. Look at me. I know you're watching now, so look at me. They're bad. But the man loves anime, and we always have a great conversation about that. So I can never be too upset at you. I'll give mine real quick because I think yours are good. For the most part, they're pretty good.
That was cute for the most part. I like how you threw that in there.
Yeah, for the most part. I'm gonna go with Herbert at 5. All right. I like that pick. Last week I was like, but man did a good job this week. I really like what he did when he went out there without his star receiver and still produced. At 4, I'm going to put Kyler. All right. I'm putting Kyler Murray there. Kyler was my 5. I'm putting him up. Are you muted right now?
That's because Kaylee's in the background, but okay.
Got you. Yeah, I'm going to put Kyler at 4, right? And the reason I'm putting Kyler at 4 is because I do think he has a good game against this Rams team that can be exploited. He is the dual threat.
That's our Rams take. I tried to save that. Pull that back. Pull it back.
All right. So Kyler Murray 4. All right. At 3, I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers discount double check, vaccineless Rodgers. I'm putting him at 3. We all knew, and Dex said this a few times, and I did agree with him that Rodgers was going to make his way onto this list and he's going to climb. He is a talented quarterback. We all know that outside the controversy. So he's at 3 for me. I'm going to keep Stafford at 2. All right. I do believe that they had a rough patch. They bounced back. I'm having faith tonight. Even though I have Kyler below him, I think Kyler's going to have a good game. But Matthew Stafford, the veteran presence there, just making that team better. Cooper Kupp as having his best year ever, having a career year, having a better season than a lot of other wide receivers in this league have ever done it. I just see that Matthew Stafford elevates him, and they do well this time out here tonight. But number 1 is Tom Brady. Time and time again, the man shows us the GOAT.
Ageless wonder.
If you're out there, if anyone out there can even is even trying to make a case for why he's not the greatest quarterback to ever put on cleats, every week he goes out there and shows you why that you're stupid. why you need to be slapped in the lips every time you try to utter that. Bop, right in the lips.
Yeah, really?
You have no reason to be speaking like that about this man. And let's just say it. Since he left New England, he's a very likable guy.
I said that. It's like you want to see him win. You want to root for him.
I see him in that Subway commercial. I'm like, Tom. Look at Tom.
And these are 2 Jet fans talking. So if 2 Jet fans who have hated Tom Brady for the entirety of his New England career
out my division, come out baby,
and tell you that this guy is the unquestioned best quarterback to ever do it, You have to really examine yourself and your objectivity.
Yeah, agree 100%. Time and time again. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up because we're gonna do it before kickoff. I feel it in my bones. All right, so let's get into it. Monday Night Football. Bing bong boom. All right, we have
Bing bong.
Honestly, I'm not gonna hold you, right? I'm sure there's a lot of New Yorkers that are watching us right now. I love Side Talk for making Bing Bong as big as it is. The fact that there's a Bing Bong commandments is necessary because the amount of people I hear saying Bing Bong, whether it's like, nah, you can't say that. TikTok, it sounds like trash, bro. Like it makes me so upset. Bing Bong, no, shut up. All right, go if you're thinking about saying Bing Bong and you're not from New York, go and look up the Bing Bong commandments because you need them. All right.
And if you're a New Yorker, and I'm talking to you transplants too, and you don't know how to get dropped in a random place in the city and find your way back on the subway, you can't say it either.
You do. You actually do. We do have to address the transplants because they do be in a heavy. But yes. Outside the Bing Bong stuff, we're going to get into it. Boom. 5 minutes. I like it. That was a good rant. Rams, Cardinals. Spoke about it. Happening 8:15. Greg.
So on Friday, I remember I was real iffy and I changed mid-sentence. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go Rams. And I said it with conviction.
You did.
I'm here to tell you that conviction has completely dissipated.
No one's surprised. No one's surprised. Honestly, your lead up to it, I know you were about to be like, oh, you're not going to see it coming. Not a soul that is watching. And currently, I see.
That's because you know me. But to add the context to it, right? The Omarion, as it's called, variant seems to hit the Rams very hard. You got no Tyler Higbee, no Jalen Ramsey.
Omarion out there dancing in the Rams locker room like it's you got served, bro. That's what it is. Like he's out there heavy right now.
So I actually think this is going to be a very hard game for the Rams to win, especially with all the Cards players coming back healthy. The Rams are going to struggle stopping a guy like James Conner because go to your brother. And I also she wants daddy now.
Them daddy duties always calling. Man.
So I do think that it's going to be a struggle for the Rams to, and Stafford is going to have to go toe-to-toe with Kyler Murray. I do think he's capable, for a period of time. I don't know if he could do it over the course of a game because that Rams defense is going to get worn down. And it's going to get ugly with no Jalen Ramsey. I can see D-Hop having a big day, 150 and two tutties. Like, it could get real ugly for the Rams tonight. And it sucks because I wanted them to be at full strength because you could get a better gauge on the division with the Rams at full strength. We're not going to see that tonight. And you got no Darrell Henderson. Sony Michel, you don't know which one's going to show up.
I'm sorry. Henderson's out.
I said there's no Henderson.
No. Like you like know for sure that you saw that in a report somewhere.
He's on the COVID list, bro.
Was that what happened? Because I didn't see COVID. Because my thing was okay. So I'm sorry. I needed Sony Michel to have a bad game or not to have a big game, and I didn't look at Henderson's report. So I was like, oh yeah, he was healthy last week, but they didn't want to play him. Wow. And fantasy reasons, I'm just upset. But continue. I'm sorry. Yeah,
man. So Henderson is on a COVID list. Tyler Higbee's on it. Jalen Ramsey's on it. And then you got who's their third receiver behind Kupp and Odell? Skoranek?
Well, it's Jefferson.
Van Jefferson. It is Van now. But the problem is they really miss Robert Woods. What Robert Woods was able to do as a blocker in that offense and as a tactician in the middle of the field to open up the routes, on the outside.
Yeah.
They can't do that now. Van Jefferson is a guy who's going to take the top off the defense for the most part, but he can't work inside the way Robert Woods could. And you're seeing the Rams offense kind of struggle to reshape its identity. And I think this is the wrong time for all of this to happen for the Rams. So I'm going to have to switch my pick. I'm going to have to go Cards here, even though in my pickups, I still got the Rams because we can't shake picks.
I know, but it's kind of weak, but I get it.
How is it weak? I just gave you a multitude of reasons.
I like the reason. Just sound like you're going against the pick 'em pick. That's all.
It is what it is.
It's hedge your bets, whatever.
I'm not like Travis, and I'm not gonna, run from the pick'em because he thinks it doesn't make sense.
Jared said Skoranek is working at Western Beef. I got a Western Beef down the block from me. I'm about to go peep if he's there. To keep it brief, because you gave a multitude of reasons why. I also agree with you. I'm gonna go Cardinals here. I just think that defense not being healthier and being as dominant as they have been is going to be a problem for the Rams to win. I do think that Stafford will have a decent game for those fantasy owners out there. And I say that because I want it to happen. So I'm going to speak it into existence because I need it.
We want it to happen. We want it to happen.
We do. I have in several leagues, bro. It's not always about you, but yes, we do.
Wow, that's what we doing. That's what we do.
Sometimes we have to do it that way. But yes, we do. I do. Both of us do individually and together want Stafford to have a good game. But yeah, I do think that the Arizona Cardinals do pull this one out. All right. But with that, y'all, I said it. We're going to finish up. I got a minute. I got less than a minute. I'm going to wrap it up real quick. Thank you all as always for coming out, listening, watching us. We appreciate everyone coming in on a Monday, Friday to spend time with us and listen to our show. Love y'all for it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Hit List, all Hit List content on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. The handle is Sports
and Twitch.
And Twitch. I haven't updated my writing. I'm sorry. And Twitch. All right. The handle for both Twitch and IG is Sports HL. Again, that is Sports HL. Coming up, we have the Fan Zone at 5 p.m. I like to believe that it's 5 p.m., but I think they might have changed their time, actually. I need people to start hitting me up beforehand so I can get these times right. It's very frustrating when things change. Nobody tells me. But we got the Fan Zone 5 and the Wednesday show. I don't think I've ever listed their time. When is the Wednesday
no. It's called Open Court now. It rebranded. It's the NBA show now.
The NBA show now. So does it mean Zig's going to be on or not?
I'm sure, but we will also see the full display of non-versatility now that it's pigeonholed.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well then, that did happen. Open Court, correct? I like the name. It's a fun. I do like the name. It's a very nice name. I hope there's a great graphic. I have to see if there's a graphic for it. Carl's really good with that. So, boss man, holding down Open Court on Wednesday, and as always, well, actually, I have to say this. For a while now, we've been rocking out on Fridays from 4:30 to 5:30. We will have a bit of a shakeup with that second show on Friday. We will update you guys during the week, so please stay tuned. We'll let you know what that's going to look like moving forward. But as always, I'm your host, Stephen Polius, alongside Greg Polius. This is Smoke and Mirrors, presented by the Sports Hit List. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy tonight's game, and we'll see you